What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another episode of What to Buy on eBay. As always, make sure to check out the seller, get more photos if you want to. These are items that I found that I think are worth taking a look at. Before I go any further, I want to say thank you to Eduardo P. Eduardo is a longtime channel subscriber and friend of mine, and he made a one-time channel contribution by PayPal to me. That's his second or third one, I believe, and I really appreciate it, Eduardo. I'm sending you a small gift in the mail as a thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to become a Patreon, my Patreon is patreon.com/actionfiguregrader. Let's dig right in to a few items I found. I've got some graded comics, I've got some vintage Kenner stuff, and I think I even snuck in a few vintage collection items. The first item on the list is an Imperial Commander, and it is graded 80 plus. This is a Hong Kong pink face, straight eyes, and here he is. He looks pretty darn nice, and it's listed for $115 with $15.99 shipping, so let's call that about 130 bucks or so. And there's 6 watchers on this item right now. That's a pretty decent price. That's a pretty good price for a variant. There's a number of different Hong Kong variants. There's like a thin face, there's a paler face, but this one is labeled as a pink face, straight eyes. There's one with a curved eyes as well. So there's a few different molds you can collect for the Imperial Commander, and that's why he's so much fun to collect, especially loose graded. But this has got the nice new updated case, and I think that price is pretty good for a Imperial Commander that's pretty high grade. Next up, we've got a comic. This is a Star Wars number 70 CGC 9.8. This is a signature series, and this is signed by Bill Hargraves, and he is the actor, or the I don't know if he was the voice actor or if he was the animatron in charge of the animatronics, but he was basically the guy behind a number of droids, namely IG-88 and 8D8. And 8D8 has kind of seen a resurgence, so to speak, after the Book of Boba Fett and his reappearance. And it's really cool to get one that's signed by him, and it's graded CGC 9.8. That price is pretty good for an autographed comic that's in high grade like this. It's tough to find these in a high grade, and at that price, I think you can't really beat that. There's 2 watchers, including me, and it's listed for $110 plus $9.99 shipping. That's a pretty good price for the John Tyler Christopher action figure variant of 8D8. Usually these autographed items can command a lot more than that. It just depends on who's signing it, but I think Bill Hargraves signed is a pretty good deal there for that comic. Next up, this one's on the upper end of the scale in terms of some of the items in this list, but I think this is worth considering, and there's 7 watchers on it already. This is a 31 back B Lando on the Empire Strikes Back card. It's graded AFA 80. The subgrades are 80, 80, 85. It's unpunched with no price sticker. It looks like it's got a little sticker residue in the upper right-hand corner below the ages 4 and up. But that is a pretty darn good deal for a Lando with a clear blister. And here's another angle of it. Really clean. The blister the blaster is still attached inside the blister. And, you know, I've seen a number of these sell over the years. There was one at Hakes that sold for more than this. It was the same grade. So I think that this price is pretty good. It's $52 shipping to the US. It's $1,036 or $14.95 Australian dollars. But I think especially if you happen to be watching this and you're in Australia and you got some money burning a hole in your pocket, this is a pretty good choice. That's a really nice, clean example of Lando on the 31 back B. All right, here's another one that's got a little bit of a complicated story to it. So this is an AFA 80 48 back free Neonum offer. So this is a transition card, and that's one of the harder card backs to find for these ESB figures. They just didn't produce a lot of these, and they continue to skyrocket in value. And it's graded AFA 80, 80, 80, 90, 80 are the subgrades. But a beautiful clear blister. It is punched, but the interesting thing is that this seller listed it originally for I believe it was $875 or $900. And then a bunch of us watched it, including me. It's got 8 watchers on it now. And then he raised the price to $1,000. But it is best offer accepted. I already received an offer for $945, which is still above what the original list price was for. But he had it originally listed for $900, okay? So I would probably make him an offer, you know, around $800 just to see what he says. I think that if you can get it for that price, it would be great. I do know of one that was unpunched that sold on one of the Facebook groups for like $1,200. It was something really stupid and overpriced. But this one is a really nice example, and I think if you can get it for that 800, maybe 850 on the upper end, that's a pretty good price for a transition card. 48 back, free Neon Numb offer, IG88. That's a beautiful, beautiful card. If I had some money, I probably would make an offer around that price point myself, but I would definitely consider that one if you'll come back down to reality a little bit. Next up, we got another comic. This is Star Wars number 24. It may not be the ideal time to buy anything Obi-Wan related with the Obi-Wan Disney series coming, I think, next week. So I'm excited about that series. But what's important about this book, this dates back to 1979, June of 1979, from the original Marvel run. And what's important about this is that this is the first solo story for Obi-Wan. It's got a fantastic cover, as you can see there. And the art is very 70s. It's kind of more of a stylized look to a lot of the characters that we know and love. It's kind of a flashback story, but this is, I think, a nice key book to consider. Maybe this is overpriced. I don't know. It's listed for $400 with $14 shipping, but there are 5 watchers on there. And I think that this is, whether this book does anything after the Obi-Wan series, probably not. I don't know. But I think that this is a good long-term investment. It's a nice book to have in your collection. It's certainly a much more reasonable price than his first appearance comic in a 9.8, which is Star Wars number 2. One of those just sold recently for, I believe it was $4,000. It was just a big, big number. But this is kind of the next book down in terms of key issue, and I think that this is a much better value, and it's just a fantastic cover. I love this book. I'd love to have this one in my collection, but I don't want to spend that kind of money right now. But if you got some money burning a hole in your pocket, this is a really nice book to have, and maybe you find one cheaper at auction, but I thought it was at least worth pointing out. Here's another one that I think was a pretty fair deal. This is a Four-LOM Hong Kong COO, and this is graded UKG 90%. It is the older style case, so keep that in mind. It's got the weapon attached to the side, so it doesn't have the nice new case to it, but it is a 90%, and anything 90% I think is a good long-term investment. Right now it's down in Australia, listed for 359 Australian dollars or 248.95 US. And the shipping to the US is another $31 on top of that, so it starts to get a little bit cost prohibitive for US buyers. But if you're down in Australia, Wes Turner, I'm looking at you. Who else we got? David Grinstaff, I believe you're in the UK. Are you in the UK or Australia? I can't remember, man. But I know that I do have some Australian subscribers, and I think I'd look at this one pretty hard, because a 90% UKG gold for anything is a really nice figure to have in your collection long term. And Four-LOM is one of those figures that's got a lot going on. He's got that robe that can oftentimes be torn on the back of the neck. The eyes can get wear on them. It's just one of those figures that has a lot that can go wrong with it in terms of the grading. And to get one at 90%, that's a really nice grade and a pretty fair price in my mind. Here's a vintage collection Cathaba. I think I've got 2 Cathabas in here, and I wanted to kind of just show you a comparison. But this one's listed for $84 plus $6 shipping. It's got 5 watchers. This is the brown bandana. So this is at least in the US, this is the less desirable of the 2. But it's a nice, clean, unpunched card. It looks like it has just the spottiest amount of edge wear. I'd probably ask for some more photos, just because it's only 2 photos, but it has a little bit of edge wear, as you can see along the bottom edge there. But right now, $84 plus $10 shipping, that's a pretty good price in my mind. Now, the cleaner example is this one. This is a very, very clean example, or at least the photos make it look cleaner to me. But this one is $120 plus $10 shipping, so $130. So you're going to spend a little bit more on this one. And it does have one little ding right here, if I can find it. Right here. It's got a little ding to it. But it's very minor. It's not color breaking. But the blister itself is really clean. Again, it is the brown bandana, so it's not quite as desirable as the red bandana, which can easily approach $200, as we've talked about in a recent market update in the vintage collection. But I think both of those are worth considering. I'm sure there's others out there, but those are 2 that popped up on my radar. This is a screaming deal. This is an absolute screaming deal. I would buy this if I was in the mood to buy something. This is Episode 1, Phantom Menace number 3. This is the first full comic book appearance of Darth Maul. This is the photo variant. The more desirable version is the one that's kind of an artistic style with a close-up of his face with kind of a purplish background. But this photo variant with Ray Park depicting Darth Maul is not a bad option. And this one's listed for $179 plus $16 shipping. There's already 4 watchers on this that just got listed yesterday or this morning. And this one has recent sales in that $200 and up range, $200 to $225. So after accounting for shipping, you're still a little bit under $200 before any kind of state sales tax. But I think that's a really, really nice example and worth picking up, because I think Darth Maul has the potential at some point to show back up in live action content. Between all the criminal organizations that are starting to kind of rear their heads within the comics, like the Crimson Reign series, there's rumors of Kira coming back, who obviously worked underneath Darth Maul at the very end of the Solo series, or excuse me, the Solo movie. I think this is a good book and a nice key issue with a first full appearance of Darth Maul, and that's a pretty much a bare bones price. You're not going to find it for much cheaper than that unless you get lucky in a stealthy auction. Here's another one that looked really nice. This has got 6 watchers already, but this is the Palatoy mail-away for Admiral Akbar. And it's graded UKG 80%, as you can see there on the label. It's the mail-away with the Palatoy box. Now, the Palatoy mail-away Akbars did not come with the insert. The US version of this came with a catalog that's kind of like the metallic gray catalog with the Star Wars collections. And I think there's also a single sheet that depicts what you get in the box. It talks about Admiral Akbar and the upcoming Revenge of the Jedi movie. So that one's the more desirable one and tends to go for a little bit more money. But this is not a bad price, $294 US or 240 pounds. It is $37 shipping with the global shipping program. So this is really geared towards my UK viewers, because I would think that the shipping cost is quite a bit less. But that's a pretty decent price, and there's already 6 watchers on that one. Here's another mailer that I thought looked pretty good. It's a U85 Palatoy Nien mail away. So a couple of Return of the Jedi figures that are mail away. But uncirculated 85 is a pretty good grade for that. That was only $171 US or 140 pounds. Again, the global shipping program price for me anyway is $60 US, which kind of is kind of a turnoff when you're paying 50% of the actual item cost in shipping. So I think if you're over in the UK, this is not a bad option. There's already 11 watchers. I think that'll probably sell pretty quick. But that's a pretty good price on a mail away Nianum. Here's another book that I've talked about in the past that I think is worth picking up. And this one is at auction. I don't usually include auction items in here, but I wanted to show this one because there's 6 days left on this. And if you can get it for close to this price, that's a pretty good deal. Right now, there's no bids on it, but this is Star Wars Darth Vader number 20. But this is the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm's Chris Sprouse cover variant. This is going to go down as the first cover appearance of Grogu and Mando. And it's a great cover. I've got one of these pre-ordered myself. Now, I paid $130 US for my example. It's a CGC pre-order. And they're already showing up already graded right now on eBay. And this one, again, it has a starting bid of $100 plus $17 shipping. If you can get it for close to that, maybe up to $125, $130 at the top end, that's a pretty good price to pay for that book, because, you know, again, long term, maybe this book doesn't go anywhere. I don't know. But it is technically the first the first comic book cover appearance of Mandalorian. Obviously, his first full comic book appearance in true interior comic is going to be in The Mandalorian #1, which debuts on June 22nd. June 22nd. And there's like 20 or 30 different cover variants for that one. So you can go take a look at all the options if you want to. But that's his first full cover appearance. And then the one coming on June 22nd is going to be his actual first interior comic cover appearance. Next up, we got a baggie. This seller has 9 of them, 9 different 8D8 baggies, factory sealed. This is the 8D8 with the little cardboard insert that kind of protects the legs, because those legs are really floppy and fragile. But it looks factory sealed, as you can see here. It's got the tape. It's a tape seal, but this one does look correctly sealed, and it's listed for $70 plus $8 shipping. Again, one of them has sold, but he's still got 9 available. Maybe you reach out and say, hey, can I see some examples of what would actually be shipped to me? Can I get the cleanest one available with the least amount of sticker residue around that tape? Make sure it's factory, or that's still factory sealed tape and not been double taped or anything like that. But that's a pretty good price for a vintage baggie, and I would consider that one. Next up, we got another comic. This is Star Wars number 37. This dates back to July of 1980. And this is Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker on the cover. What I like about this one is that it's still got that 70s feel to the cover with the way that Luke is depicted there. And this has like a point of view of Darth Vader. So you're like in a first person point of view of Darth Vader. It shows his shadow and it says in Mortal Kombat. But what a great cover. Just a fantastic cover. It's not a key issue, so to speak. It says the death of Baron Ormond Taggy. I have no idea who that is. But it also is the first appearance of Jabba the Hutt in his old character design. So it's kind of cool. It's Jabba's first appearance before they kind of changed him into the big, revolting, slimy slug of a slob that he became. He shares a lot in common. The revised version of Jabba that we know and love, he shares a lot in common with me. He's got that same kind of sluggy, slimy, transparent grossness to him. And I really relate to him a lot. But this is a cool book, though. It's kind of a nice, historical kind of thing where it has Jabba before he became what he is as his first appearance. And then it also has just a fantastic cover from Darth Vader's point of view, getting ready to fight Luke. And you can see R2-D2 there. It's just an awesome cover. I would pay that all day long. $205 plus $6 shipping for a vintage CGC 9.8 comic. Yes, please. I would buy that. And it's on my watch list. Next up is one that I don't think people talk about this book enough. This one has since got 3 watchers since I started watching it. And this is TIE Fighter number 1. This is from June of 2019. But as you can see in that little white bubble there on the front of the cover, this features an exclusive preview to the companion novels written by Alexander Freed called the Alphabet Squadron. So this is the first team appearance of the Alphabet Squadron. This is also the first comic book appearance of Erica Quell, who is the main hero within the Alphabet Squadron trilogy. I've read all 3 books. If you have not read the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, do yourself a favor and read it because it is awesome. This is the team appearance is also for Shadow Squadron, which is like an evil post Death of the Emperor, post Return of the Jedi TIE Fighter Squadron that goes and destroys planets by any means necessary. It's a fantastic, very unique cover. You can see the reflection of an X-Wing trying to escape a TIE Fighter in his visor eyes. I mean, this cover is awesome, and it's $119 plus $18 shipping. I had it in my buy it now. I had it in my cart. I was thinking about making an offer on it, and I didn't do it. So I'm going to pass this one on to you because this one does not come up often. This has got probably less than 20 on the CGC census. I haven't looked it up yet, but I would take a look at it. But here's the Key Comics kind of blurb on it. It's the first team appearance of Shadow Wing. I thought it was Shadow Squadron, but it's Shadow Wing, an elite team of Imperial pilots. It's the first appearance of Erica Quell, an X-Wing starfighter pilot. I think they don't really form Alphabet Squadron formally until a later issue. But this is the one you want to get. And it's only $5. It's only a $5 comic, or it's listed as a $5 comic. But I think that number's low. And I do think that there's potential for this storyline to actually play out in a Disney Plus series. It's tailor-made for a Disney Plus miniseries. And this book and this cover is just awesome. There is a 1 in 10 variant that's not nearly as exciting, but this is the one I would want if I was going to get it. And I might change my mind and buy it. So if this thing sells before this video goes live, then maybe I bought it. I don't know. But if I don't buy it and it's still available, somebody please pick this up so I don't spend the money on it. But that's a really good book. Next up, we've got another vintage collection. This is a rocket firing Fett mail away. The box looks, or the packaging looks really mint. It's unpunched, really clean, straight out of the factory shipper box, which is also included. But here is the back of the card. It looks to be in fantastic 85 plus to possibly 90 condition, and it's listed for $160 plus plus $9.45 shipping. That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal on an ungraded rocket firing Fett that looks to be in pretty immaculate condition. That's well below, not well below, but that's pretty below sales prices that I've seen recently. Here's a lot that I think is worth taking a look at. It's already got 5 watchers, but it's got 4 very, very desirable unpunched TVC 1.0. It's got Ahsoka. It's got Darth Malgus on the U.S. card. Both of those are U.S. cards. I think all 4 of these are U.S. cards. Shea Vizsla, an unpunched Shea Vizsla, as well as an unpunched Expanded Universe Republic Trooper. So 4 of the more desirable TVC 1.0 for $831. We just documented an Ahsoka that sold by itself for $700, which is a higher price. I wouldn't pay that, but I think for $831 for all 4 of these with just minor edge wear to the Malgus there, as you can see. Shea Vizsla looks to be an excellent never mind. The Shea Vizsla looks like it's got a little bit of a crease, so that's probably why it hasn't sold yet, but you know, that Shea Vizsla is probably at best an 80 grade, but the others I think are 85 to 90 grade, and you get a beautiful Ahsoka. I mean, that Ahsoka is gorgeous. Look at that. So I don't know. It's worth considering. It might be a little high. It does have a make an offer. There's already 5 watchers on it. I expect it to sell, but you know, maybe you pick it up for $650. I don't know. That's a pretty good price, I think, because the Ahsoka alone, I think the floor on that's $300 to $350, right? And to get the Republic Trooper, Shea Vizsla, admittedly with that crease, as well as Darth Malgus for that, I think that'll be a pretty good price. So maybe aim for $650-ish on that one. Here's another book that I have pre-ordered from beachbumcomics.com that is available. This seller has 5 of them available. It's $64.99 plus $14.99 shipping. But this is High Republic number 12. It's got a fantastic cover with Lorna D on there holding a lightsaber. She's one of the main protagonists, one of the main villains. She's kind of the right-hand woman who works with Marchion Ro, the main villain for the Nihilists, the Nihil, excuse me. And what's important about this book is that it's the first cameo appearance of the Leveler. The Leveler is like a force-sensitive monster that can suck the life out of the Jedi, and the Leveler kills a number of Jedi in the novels. So I think that the Leveler, as a character, as a monster, is going to have a big role whenever the High Republic comes to Disney Plus content, and it apparently is in the works right now. The actors are being cast, they're doing the pre-production work. You can probably expect a Disney Plus show in the next 2 to 3 years, is my guess. But this is going to be an important book, and to get it right now when it's at its absolute cheapest, I would buy this book. Like I told you, I've already pre-ordered this myself in a 9.8 grade, and this cover is absolutely awesome. It's just a great cover with Lorna D on there. So $64.99 with $14.99 shipping. That's a pretty bare bones price for a nice CGC 9.8 comic, and it's a pretty low risk proposition, I think. Here's what it says in the key comics. First cameo appearance of a Leveler as they appear to Force users, and again, it's kind of like a monster that sucks the life out and kills a number of the Jedi. The first full appearance of the Leveler is in Star Wars High Republic number 15, and there's a number of different cover variants for that one as well. Here's the other cover, which I don't like, but the main cover for High Republic number 15 is worth taking a look at as well. There's a number of those already coming out that have been graded by CGC, and you can pick those up for pretty cheap. But this book is an homage cover to High Republic number 1, which this exact same cover when they were younger is shown for that book. But you know, if you want to get anything related to the Leveler, and I think that Leveler will make an appearance in live action content, look at High Republic number 12, look at High Republic number 15, and I think Trail of Shadows number 5 is the other one where the Leveler is tied with High Republic number 15 for the first full appearance of the Leveler. So anyway, just a few more ideas for those of you looking out there and have some money to burn. I don't. I am dead broke right now, but I thought I'd share some good ideas with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this look, and thanks for watching.